Thank you so much, Mina. Got it. That announcement of recording always gets you. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Just as I said earlier, our very last community of practice call of the year, which is bittersweet, but we will definitely regroup in a couple of months so that we can keep this amazing group going. So just as Mina mentioned, we'll be covering a few things today. And the first thing that I really want us to be able to do is share those success stories. We've been hearing and seeing tons of different ways that cities, communities, community-based organizations have been using GEM this past year, and the stories are absolutely unbelievable. They're really impactful, and I want this group to be able to, one, share all the amazing things that you're doing, but also be able to, is there an echo? Oh, I think you need to mute. But also be able to learn from what other cities are doing too. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. Second, we're going to actually learn about some very exciting GEM updates that are on the way, some new GEM features that my colleague Shar is going to talk about a little later. And then we'll have the rest of the opportunity or rest of the time to actually just help craft what you all want to see and what you all want this community of practice to look like for the next year. So we have tons of things to get through today, but hopefully we'll have a really great time. But first, before that, we're actually going to give away our first prize. And actually, if you didn't see in the announcement, we're going to be giving away a few prizes this community of practice, and you'll have some chances later on in the call to actually win any more prizes. So the first way that we are going to give away our first prize is we're going to have everyone drop a number into the chat between 1 and 50. And we are going to have our random number generator actually pick a number for us. The person who is closest to that number is going to be allowed to actually win that prize. So go ahead.
But don't put the number in yet. Just type it in and then we'll say go, and then you'll all put it in at the same time, right?
Good call.
Actually, we're doing a random number. Never mind.
And I'm going to stop and share really quickly because I'm going to go head over to the random number generator. So please go ahead and we're going to drop our numbers in. Promise there's no cheating here. See. Still waiting for a few numbers in here. Yes. Once I have them all.
Say what these prizes might be.
Yeah, you're right. So we have a few different prize options here. The first one is free access to GEM for 2022. So again, you guys know what GEM is, our Green Link Equity Map, an amazing tool so that you can begin mapping equities across your city. So that is our first prize. Our second prize is actually access to a training for Race Forward trainings. They do racial equity trainings going on. And actually, I should drop the link in there because it's a really great training series that they do. So that is actually our second prize. But we also have another prize, and that is actually with Vision Power Solutions, and they have a race training as well that they're doing. It's a part of an entire, thanks Mina, it's a part of an entire series that they have going on. So you can actually win free on behalf of us of these prizes, access to any of those opportunities. Thanks Mina for dropping that in there. Did we get all the numbers here in the running? All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull up this random number generator. All right, should I say the number? I'm nervous. All right, okay, so we got the number 10. Who was closest to 10 here? Let me see. Looks like, is it Lacey?
Oh, no, I think we have someone even close. Oh, yeah, Lacey.
Hooray.
Yay.
Congratulations, Lacey.
Awesome. So Lacey, just why don't you, if you can just message me separately and we'll arrange to make sure you get the prize.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Lacey.
Of course. Awesome. Okay, let me get back to the slide deck here. You all see this? Let's see. Okay, great. So let's actually maneuver over to our next part of the presentation, and that is just celebrating success and the things that you all are doing around equity, around climate justice, environmental justice, mapping, clean energy, all of that. And I just want to take the time, especially given that it is the end of the year, and just celebrating and acknowledging all of the amazing things that you all are doing, whether it's your city, yourself individually, your community-based organization. I want to take the time to share that. So I'm going to ask everyone or anyone to come off mute if you do have a story or something that you want to share about some of the great things that your city has done this past year. This is your moment to gloat, to brag on yourselves and all the great things that you all are doing.
Don't be shy.
I was going to say, I know a few things that some people are doing. I think I heard a really great story actually from Joel on, what was it, Wednesday, about how you all are using, the city of Detroit is doing some great things with GEM actually. Did I see? And also feel free to drop it in the chat too.
I'll share.
Yeah.
The city of Decatur is working on a clean energy plan and utilizing GEM in that process.
Love that. That's really exciting. What, if I may ask, like what's kind of included into that clean energy plan?
So right now we're just doing community engagement. So that's really helping determine what is going to be in the clean energy plan. But a range of topics are being discussed, from like mobility, transportation, weatherization, high energy performance building, these kinds of things.
That's awesome.
So this is Lori Forsman. I can share what I'm working on. I'm here in Orange County, Florida, and Orlando has been one of the Greenlink partners. And what we're working on, similar to something that they're doing, is we're doing a specific energy efficiency program aimed at low-income seniors. And we're trying to do some energy burden mapping and then some tracking of the people that we service and where they fall within the energy burden. And also, you know, from an equity perspective, are we seeing that burden in very specific areas, and how does that relate to the demographics of that area? And so basically I'm trying to get some information about how GEM works and try to use it in developing this next stage of building out this program and looking at the burden across our county and how we address it.
Wow, that sounds amazing. And I love that you all are taking and just an understanding of the aging population and that relationship between energy burden, because we know that that can definitely be a vulnerable population when it comes to energy burden. Thank you for sharing. So.
Yes, I will say that it's been very eye-opening in the work we've been doing, how much of a burden there really is. And what we're also learning, and what I'm hoping to map into this, is not just the energy burden, but the resilience of their homes overall, and their ability to age in place, as opposed to, you know, having to leave their home at some point. So we're trying to pull all of this information together and develop a better program that serves our seniors.
That's really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing, Lori. Wow. I think I see a hand here. Joel, feel free to unmute yourself.
Yeah, so we're working on a climate strategy for the city right now, and part of that, and we're looking both at carbon reduction, but also resilience, and how do we improve the resilience of citizens and city properties, et cetera. And so we're part of that is we're doing kind of a big data exercise where we're actually creating like a vulnerability index based on, the three components of vulnerability. So exposure, adaptive capacity, and sensitivity. I'm glad I remembered all those. And so essentially thinking about like for different programs or policies that come out of the climate strategy, what geographic areas are they going to have the greatest impact? And so we're leveraging some of the utility affordability data that's in GEM to do that, as well as other sources and stuff. So I'm excited about the possibilities and about really trying to center equity in a data-driven way that can be that's rooted in the challenges that Detroiters face. And then an additional piece of that strategy is that we have a climate equity advisory council of 13 community members who are helping to kind of ground truth the work that we've done at every stage, but certainly reviewed the draft indicators for the vulnerability assessment, as well as our draft actions items as well. So just a couple of updates from Detroit. Thanks.
Thanks so much for sharing. That's awesome. I mean, it definitely seemed like you guys are busy over there in Detroit, and we'll have to connect you actually with Christine, who's our GEM comms person, who's documenting all the amazing things that cities are doing. So we definitely want to be able to highlight what Detroit is doing. And I think, Christine, you talked with EcoWorks too recently about their work too. Just writing it down.
Yeah, Joel, are you in contact with EcoWorks Detroit as well? Because they're doing a lot of data-driven analysis.
Yeah. Actually, EcoWorks is actually my prime contractor for the climate strategy. So yeah, okay. I would say I'm in touch with them.
Oh, good. Okay, because I had a great call with them recently, and they're doing amazing work. So that's great. You all are working on this together.
Yeah, I know they're great. Justin, who was their ED, is now kind of the project manager for that. But they're definitely integral, and it's all the team that I have is all nonprofit team. So it's kind of it's an interesting mix and great folks. So yeah.
Great. Oh, well, good. When I write down your story, I'll make sure to reach out to make sure I'm capturing all the story correctly.
Sounds good.
Awesome. That's super great. I've just dropped also, it's in the wrong chat, people in the waiting room. I'm dropping a link here as well so that you all can see some other really great GEM stories and things that other cities have been doing in relation to GEM. I mean, there are tons of stories here from Atlanta and what they're doing in creating or actually having an entire board or energy burden who is focused on energy work specifically for the city. So their Clean Energy Atlanta board, they're working to use GEM and incorporating that into all of their work for the city. We also have, let me see here, Philly did a really great job in incorporating GEM specifically for their community engagement work and better understanding what neighborhoods or what areas are most vulnerable. So there are some really great stories here that I would really encourage everyone to kind of go in and be able to see what are some really great things that people are doing. And I want to share another source, and this article came out just last month, and this was San Antonio and the way that they are using GEM. Let me drop this in the chat too. This is a really cool story with San Antonio, and basically they use GEM in a tons of other really great sources all throughout the article, so that they can better understand which areas were most burdened. I think they were able to identify the top 5 areas within San Antonio that are highly energy burdened. But they also used that for a plan. There's the American Rescue Plan Act that they're funding in order to help support that or mitigate those burdens that we're seeing. So that was a really cool article that we were able to see the use of GEM here, but also helping to mitigate energy burden in San Antonio. So, any other stories to share before we move on? Hear it. All right, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen if I can. You all aren't able to see this, are you? I think so. Okay, got it. Okay, so I actually want to transition a little bit so that I can share with you all what's on the horizon for GEM next year. And actually, I'm going to bring my colleague, Shar, up to be able to talk about all of the really great features that we have just coming up for us in 2022. Shar, are you here with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. Cool. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Shar.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Shar. Just to introduce myself real quick, I am a data scientist here at Greenlink, and I primarily focus on the GEM platform. So a lot of my work includes creating these new features that I'm about to explain that will be integrated with GEM. So I'm just going to kind of describe some of these that are going to be coming in the new year, so you guys can get as excited as we are in all of these. So to start, we have urban tree canopy cover. So this data set is essentially going to be the percent of trees in a given census tract. So that is maybe the amount of ground cover that would be populated by a tree canopy. So essentially what this is going to be really important with integration with GEM, because we'll be able to bring trees into the picture and establish relationships between trees and our other equity indicators. Because as we know, trees clean and cool our air, right? So there's a huge relationship between our health indicators as well as tree canopies. So for example, if we have, lower asthma rates in an area, maybe we have higher trees or higher percentage of tree canopy cover in that same area. So that's just one example, but really exciting. We have completed this data set, but we're just waiting on integration with our GEM platform so we can visualize this so you guys can all see it. All right, so moving on, urban heat island. So our UHI data set will be coming in 2022 as well. For those of you that are not aware, I'm just going to describe UHI real quick. So this is essentially when areas within a metro area, such as a city, are significantly warmer than surrounding areas. This is usually because of certain, materials and surfaces that we have in cities compared to rural areas, such as heat absorbing buildings or pavement. So when we're looking at heat or, our UHI data set, it'll evaluate the temperatures that are felt in these cities due to these surfaces compared to the surrounding areas. So it'll evaluate that land surface temperature. This is really exciting to look at in the GEM platform because it'll allow us to better understand heat equity, so heat related risks in our cities, but also to understand maybe the impact that heat has on energy burden, because as we know, the hotter an area is, the more that air conditioners might have to work, which means, energy burdens might end up being higher in an area. So really exciting. It's still in development. We're still working on the methodology for this one, but really exciting that it'll be coming soon. All right, redlining. I'm not going to go in depth on describing redlining right now, but our redlining layer is essentially going to be boundaries for where redlining was in the mid 1900s. And this will be really important to look at within GEM because we'll be able to see exact areas that were once redlined, so we can understand maybe the reason why we have, higher health burdens or energy burdens in certain areas, but also to understand areas where gentrification might be occurring. So if we had, a lower income area and now it's a higher income area and that area is also redlined, maybe, we can understand where gentrification is starting to occur. Okay, transportation burden. So transportation burden, really exciting. We're currently working on the methodology for this one, so it's not quite done yet, but it is still really exciting. It'll be coming in the new year. This is essentially going to evaluate the accessibility and affordability of transportation in a given census tract. So really exciting because we're going to be bringing transportation equity into the picture. So we can better understand, areas within our communities that may not have access to affordable transportation. And overlaying this with our other equity indicators that we have in GEM, we'll be able to understand, maybe an area that has predominantly renter population or predominantly Black population might, not have access to transportation because there's more roads and less bike paths. So we can better understand, policies or implementations to alleviate those issues. All right, user input. Joel, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was curious around the transportation burden. What are some of the data sources you're using for that? Because I think that'd be of great interest to folks in my city.
Yeah, of course. So we're actually still looking into this right now. We have just begun development for it. And by development, I mean, we're at the initial research phase. We are looking into, some ACS data as well as data from the Department of Transportation on this. But yeah, I mean, we haven't gotten too far yet. We've just started research on this. So that's kind of as far as I can explain to you right now. But stay tuned.
Okay, yeah. I know CNT in Chicago has done some interesting work on transportation data, so they may be a resource.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're trying to definitely look and see what all's out there, so we don't necessarily reinvent the wheel either. But yeah, no, appreciate that. Look into it. All right, user input. So this is a super exciting feature that'll be coming extremely soon. So our user input feature for GEM is essentially, it's going to be a form where you all, our users, can bring data from your communities that you guys might have access to that GreenLink may not, and integrate that with the GEM platform. So you'll be able to take a data set that you might have, such as an example here might be supermarket data. So if you have data for supermarkets on a census tract level that, your community has gathered or your organization has gathered, you'll be able to input that into the GEM platform. So we can visualize that alongside our other GEM indicators. So that's really exciting because we can kind of take a further analysis on some of this data we're already looking at. And it'll also allow us to understand your communities better and vice versa. So really exciting. This is in development. We're currently trying to figure out the best way to integrate this with our platform for ease of accessibility, so to say. So get excited.
Awesome. Thanks, Shar, so much for that. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about our change over time feature, which I'm probably one of the most excited about this one. But I'm going to ask one of our GreenLink folks to drop our September report into the chat too, because I want people to be able to look at this report, which actually evaluates change over time data for 50 of the most populated metro statistical areas across the entire country. So that was a really great report where we were able to evaluate how energy burden has changed for many of those cities and whether it has increased or decreased over those years, to better understand where are the cities where we've seen the greatest improvement over time, and where are the cities that still may need a little bit more improvement, but also we're going to be taking that a little bit further in our next couple of reports to highlight some of the cities who have done actually really great jobs at improving energy burden over time. And actually Detroit, I'm going to shout that out, ranked number 1 as far as having the most improvement. So that was really cool. So we'll make sure to link that report in here. But what we'll also be able to do within GEM soon is be able to see GEM data over time. So currently within GEM, you can only look at the data for 1 year. So we have it, most of the data is from 2018, but very soon you'll be able to see how the data has changed from, for example, 2013 until 2015 or 2017 to 2018, for example, so that you can see whether or not your city has improved or what that relationship or what those trends have been over time and all the different indicators in GEM. So that's a very exciting feature, and it allows us to see what our progress has looked like over the past couple of years. The other thing, or the last thing that I want to highlight here today, is actually our equity index, which is a really cool thing that we're actually piloting with, I think, about 5 different cities right now. So Atlanta, Charlotte, Denver, Columbus, also Orlando. And we are working with cities so that they're able to better understand and evaluate energy burden, but also other indicators within GEM, again, and be able to give themselves a report card. So basically you'll have what we call, or what we're calling, an equity index score. So you'll be able to go into the GEM platform, weight the different indicators based off of what the community feels is most critical or important for them, but also be able to take that and have a score for the equity index, but also have a report card too. So we're super excited about those equity indices that we'll have into the platform very soon. Before I go on, I do want to just open the floor if there were any questions here in the chat, or if anyone had any questions or thoughts on any of the features. Feel free to unmute too. Cool. Okay. So for the last part of our time together, I wanted to allow the opportunity for us to really plan our next year together. And that will include actually being able to craft our 2022 community of practice. And so, like I said, this past year, we've done tons of really great webinars where we've talked about so many things, whether that was our peer consultancy calls where we had Orlando come in and present their case and the amazing work that they're doing and get feedback from the group, kind of like some pro bono consulting that you get to get. But we also had an entire call related to equity indices and creating them, having a very equitable process in creating our equity indices. So we've had really great events so far, but we want to make sure that we're continuing to serve the community. So we're going to spend the next couple minutes actually going through some of these questions. But before I do so, I am going to have, if Mina can drop the link to a survey that we have, and we're requesting that you all fill this out. And so this survey is going to help gauge us what your thoughts were for the past community practice, but also what you would like to continue to see from us, or new things you want to see from us in 2022. If you do fill out the survey by the end of the day, you will be able to get one of those prizes that we have that I talked about at the beginning of the call. And this is for everyone. We're not just giving away one prize this time. This is for everyone who fills out this survey by the end of the day. So make sure you fill that out for us. So let's actually transition over to the discussion questions that we have here. And we're actually going to use a platform. I don't know if you all have heard of Mentimeter. It's actually my first time using it, but it is going to allow us to actually populate the answers to the questions. And we're actually going to, I'm going to stop sharing in a moment, but the first question that we're going to go through and answer is, how can the community of practice support your work on climate and equity. So I'm going to stop share really quickly, and Mina should have dropped the link to the first Mentimeter. All you have to do is type in your response, and then it'll be able to auto-populate, and I'll show the responses here on the screen. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, so I just put the link in the chat, and in the spirit of learning in public, we are trying out this new format. We may use it next year, we may not. So thanks for being a part of this. So you should click on the link. You should be able to see a question, and you should be able to submit, and then the answers will pop up on Diamond's screen. So we're gonna try this out and see how it works.
Yeah, let's give it a try. Go ahead and share. Okay. See here. All right, so the question here again is, how can the community of practice support your work on climate and on equity? Feel free to start writing your thoughts in here, and we'll see some of them hopefully pop up in a moment.
I see one. Maybe if you refresh Diamond, we might be able to see it.
Got it.
This
See.
is our learning, and there we go.
Yes, we got it. Awesome. So we see here sharing ideas for community outreach around energy burden. Yes, love that one. I think that the community side of things is, if not the most important part of being able to mitigate energy burden within our communities. Partnering with counties that are trying to do the same kind of work that many cities are doing. Yes, I agree with that. Our counties do have a lot of power to be able to support our cities in mitigating or working towards some of these issues here. Well, great thoughts.
For some reason, it's not updating live. So if you want to refresh again, there's even another.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. Let's see here. Okay, examples from cities using GEM with community engagement. Yes, that's definitely right. We'll definitely have to have like specific cities come in and just like share for the entire time their process of actually using GEM for community engagement. Love that. And we can share our GEM stories page again too. Did we get another one pop up?
No.
Okay, just let me know.
We're learning a lot about this format. May not work for us. Thanks, y'all.
It's a really great tool, but you know, it has a little kinks here and there. Awesome. Okay.
The next question that you all should see is about how you learn best in the community practice. Does anyone mind just letting me know if you're seeing that prompt for yourself?
I can see it when you go to next question after you submit for that first
great.
one. I think you might have to submit. Do you have to submit something for the first one? I don't know.
I think you can skip it, but then maybe Diamond if you go to the next one.
Let's see. And let me refresh again just in case. So for this next question here, it's asking, how would you learn best in the community of practice? So I mentioned about our peer consultancy process again. So those are really cool. We have cities come in here, share a case, share some of the work that they're doing. If they're running into an issue, they need some extra help from us. We serve as these community consultants on the call where we're able to give guidance, advice, share best practices, share things that we're doing, things like that. So those are our peer consultancy calls, webinars, similar to what we're doing now. We usually have great presentations from people who come in and talk about various topics. Sometimes we jump into small group discussions or even do small groups where we show people through the GEM platform. We go ahead and do short demos and show them how you can look at, for example, energy burden and asthma. And then the last thing here, consultation with GreenLink staff. If you all have any questions, thoughts, things that you want to work through, we're always happy to do that as well. Refresh again and see. Okay, awesome. Okay, I love it when it's working because it looks really cool here. Cool. So it seems like we have a lot for peer consultation calls, consultation with GreenLink staff. Love that.
Great. We got even more votes, but those two are
okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, let me refresh one more time just to be sure. Okay, yeah, consultation with GreenLink staff. Awesome. All right, should we go on to the next question?
Yeah, so you all, again, we do have a little bit of glitches. So if you don't mind clicking on, there will be a different link, and that is this one that I just put in the chat.
Yeah.
And you should hopefully get a question that gives you some examples of topics that we might cover. I know some of those came up when you all in the first question, but there's some topics here, and we'd love to hear which ones you are really interested in, which ones you would prioritize.
Yeah, tons of topics here. Let me refresh really quickly.
It'll take you a while to read through them, so that's okay. Take your time. Wish I had some background or like elevator music while we fill out these. Got gentrification and displacement, co-designing, co-creation, equity indices, lack of trust in government, communities, data, working with utilities to understand climate equity or advancing climate equity, success stories, best practices, designing for accountability structures. We are getting some results if you want
We
to.
are, okay, let's see. Wow, awesome. Tons for creating and using equity indices, awesome. Let's see what else got pretty high. Best results for communicating GEM with stakeholders and for effective policy, yes, +1 for that. Designing for accountability structures for local government / community collaboration. Let me refresh one more time. Anything else? Yeah.
And does anyone, unfortunately on this method and this technology, there wasn't space to add your own. There is in the survey though. So feel free to add in the survey other topics that we may not have on here, or if you want to just come off mute, we'd love to hear from you. Any comments or additional topics.
Yeah, we're not constrained to just what's on this list. We'd love to hear more. Let me refresh again. Wow, yeah, it seems like there's tons again for the designing for accountability structures. That would be a really great talk.
Great.
So should we move on to our last question here?
Yeah.
Okay, see, hopefully you all can see this too. But last question here, open-ended. What experience, skills, offerings, or other contributions do you bring to the community? We always want to know about, you all's skills or what you are potentially knowledgeable about, because we'd love to have you actually come in and present to the group or just share your expertise with us.
And remember, you don't have to be an expert. It can be something that you're really good at working through, or a question that you have that you think you could help other people answer, or just a skill you want to share. And if you could include your name in the answer, that would be great because we don't automatically see it.
Yes, appreciate that.
And as we move through the next year, you all will see more and more members of the community like yourselves stepping up and leading different parts of our monthly calls. So yeah, think on this, see what you might want to bring to the community.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Just one more time.
Everyone's being real shy about how good they are at their jobs and how cool they are.
This is the community of practice to gloat. Like, tell us, how badass you are. Cool. Finish one more time. Let's see.
All right. Well, it seems like people want to be real shy, and that's totally okay.
Totally.
It's okay.
We know you're awesome. We're going to find you and pull you in.
Oh yeah, we're definitely doing that.
Even just from what we've heard from the new folks on today, there's some great work already underway. So we're excited to call on y'all to share hopefully later. And yeah, your peers can benefit from that.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So with that, as we wrap up, I want to leave you all with tons of resources and ways that you can continue to connect with us. So again, this is sadly our last community of practice of this year, but we will be picking back up next year, February 2022. Look out in your email for the exact date and time and invitation to that. Please join us, get your colleagues to join us. If you are a city staff member, get signed up for GEM, but also send the link over to your colleagues. And Mina's going to be dropping tons of links and resources in here for you guys. But you can easily just go onto gem.equitymap.org to sign up if you are a staff member in one of our 50 leadership cities. Community-based organizations who are also eligible and located in one of our 50 leadership cities also have access to GEM. You could just fill out our scholarship form, which again takes like 5 minutes to do. Just hop onto equitymap.org and you can fill out an application. It just takes one person from your organization to fill that out. And then anyone else from your organization is able to sign up for GEM with no problem. We do GEM demos. So if you want a demo or refresher on the platform, if you're stuck on something, want some more experience, feel free to book an office hour with me. I do those every week and you can do that at equitymap.org. Last thing on here, read our most recent report. We had a really great report out this past September, which I think we've shared here in the chat again. So it's a really great report. And then the last thing is we have a just like a resources page full of all tons of resources that have to do with energy burden. Feel free to add to that document as well. We want to keep growing it, but I think those are all of the resources. I know that's a lot, so you may just want to copy and paste the entire chat. But
we'll send these out. So everyone who is registered here, we're going to send all of these out as well. I also wanted to just plug this. Oops, that's the wrong link. Plug our website. It has a community of practice page. And so if you all are new, if you're interested in checking out some of the past resources, recordings, things that we've covered, I think this should be the right link. Here we go. You'll find it online. So definitely peruse around, take advantage of the being able to book a time with Diamond, and we will be in touch and see you in February.
yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. Again, please, please, please take some time out to fill out that survey by the end of the day. Promise, only takes about 10 minutes, but we would love to get your feedback and just thoughts on shaping our community of practice in 2022. But with that, I hope everyone has a really great weekend, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. We hope you use these last 9 minutes to do this survey.
Yes,
Lacey's
please.
already going to get registered for this amazing training. So we're already got these underway. Thank you so much, everybody.
Lori, did you have a question or were you just waving by?
No.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you.